Hello my good friends, it's Buck Weezer and you've tuned to Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube, and in front of you today is a mower that was given to me that doesn't start or run. I wondered if you would like to join me to see if we can get it back in service. It's a TROY-BILT TB240. It's got a Honda engine. And the first thing you might notice that I don't have the Recoil Starter pull rope on there because I stole it. I was working on another Honda. I need the Recoil. I stole it off of this guy. But no problem. I've got another one here that I bought. So we're going to put that on first. And then we'll take it outside and see exactly what this machine does or does not do. This is just an inexpensive replacement recoil starter from Amazon. We'll put it down on there. I got three nuts. There we go. 10mm nut driver. What a valuable little tool that is. These don't have to be too terribly tight. All right. I'll meet you outside. All right. It does have fuel. I might have added this fuel. I don't remember. I felt like it came empty. So I don't really know the age or condition of that fuel, but there is fuel in there. The fuel valve is open, and I also checked that it does have oil. So let's see what happens. Recoil rope starter pulls real nice. All right, it clearly does not wish to start as we had known. So let's move on to our next test. Let's take down the air filter so we can see the carburetor. All right, a little dirty, but not horrible. And this is set up with an automatic choke, and as it should be, the choke plate is closed because the engine's cold. Now, what I want to do is I just want to shoot a little starting fluid in there. Oh, that thing's really stiff. Oh, there we go. I forced it open. So it looks like we're going to need some carburetor work on this, because that choke plate should be opening and closing easily with the screwdriver, but it's really stiff. So we're going to be looking at some carburetor work, I think. But what I want to do to see if it will fire for us, even briefly, is I just want to spray some starting fluid into the throat of the carburetor, and then we'll attempt to start it. And that'll confirm a lot of things for us if it will start and run briefly on this artificial fuel that we're supplying. The choke plate's open. I'll shoot some of this in there. All right. Now let's just step back a little bit. And we see if it'll start and run briefly for us now. And it did with a happy little puff of smoke. All right, so we know that this does have spark, has compression, the timing's good, and if fuel is provided, as we did with the starting fluid, it will run. It's simply not getting fuel through the carburetor jet. It's probably clogged up, probably sat with old fuel in it for a long time. So getting this back up and running is going to be as easy as cleaning out that carburetor and reinstalling it. So let's get this baby up on the table and get started. All right, there she is up on the table. Now, as I did not know the age or condition of the fuel that was in that tank, I went ahead and drained it out, dumped it. We're going to use fresh fuel, clean, non-ethanol fuel when we get when we refuel this baby. So let's focus in here on the air cleaner. Behind that is the carburetor. And we got to take off these two 10mm bolts. Now when we take these off, it's all going to fall down. The carburetor, the air cleaner, whatever gaskets. And the way they have this design, you can't really see what you're doing. So going to put it back together can be a challenge, but I've got a trick for that I will show you when the time comes. But just recognize that when you take these two bolts out, it's all just going to drop. So there's the one. And when I take out the second one, maybe we can just sort of hold everything here with our other hand. Because you do have to know how it all goes back together. So that comes off. Now, the breather tube plugs into the back of this. He's kind of tough, but he's got to come off right there. And so here's our carburetor, and it's kind of nasty in there. Wow, this is real stiff. Throttle stiff also. So this sat with old fuel, probably regular fuel containing ethanol. It's terrible for carburetors. And that's why this thing is all gunked up and nasty. Now I don't need to take down everything. Some of these pieces may stay up in place. All right, so that gasket, spacer, this mechanism is part of our automatic choke. Let's just leave that all in there. We do have to take off the spring, the throttle control, and the fuel line. I never really liked these Honda clamps because I never seem to be able to get them off in any way that I can reuse them. So I usually just destroy them in the process of removing them. We do have to disconnect the fuel line, like that. Dripping a little. Alright, so now we can take off these throttle linkages. I think. There, they can just sit up there. So there's the carburetor. It's down, it's dirty. We got to clean it off and see if we can resuscitate this over on the bench. So I'll meet you there. All right, we're at the workbench. A lot of carburetors get serviced up here. And there's the guy we're focusing on today. This, we'll move you closer. That's our Honda carburetor. I took some carburetor cleaner and cleaned off the outside using a toothbrush and some of this carbon choke cleaner. In the process, I was able to get our choke freed up. You see there's a spring here that will hold the choke plate in the closed position. And as the engine heats up, the automatic choke will open it up for us. But when it's cold, like it is now, that spring should be keeping it closed, just like it is. The throttle shaft, however, is still stuck. And I have not been able to free that up yet. See if I can get a pair of pliers on that. Might work a little better to free it up. Yeah, that's pretty stiff. That's pretty stiff, baby. Wait, here we go. It's starting to move. All right. Now this does not have a spring that controls it because the throttle shaft coming over from the governor arm is responsible for that. So we're going to free it up. All right, that's good. That's a lot better. We're going to break loose this nut, this bolt at the bottom that holds the bowl on. And I bet that's going to be interesting to peek inside there. All right, 10 millimeters. 10 millimeter wrench. It's pretty tight. Let's do this over a dish so we can collect whatever might run out. That should be interesting. Oh, it's coming out green. That can't be good. That is green, folks. What in the world? See that? That's just so weird. Alright. And there's the bowl. Look at that. It's just totally corroded, rusted. And here's the inside of our carburetor. Sometimes you just need to replace these guys instead of messing around with cleaning them and stuff. And I've probably got enough Honda carburetors laying around that we can get one together pretty easily. That float looks pretty stuck, glued down in there. I mean, the needle's stuck down in there. So anyway, this is what you get when you leave a mower sit for long periods of time with fuel, particularly the fuel made with ethanol, in the tank and in the carburetor. And this jet, of course, up there is totally plugged. So let's see if we're going to clean this, or maybe just see if I got another one that we could replace it with. But that's pretty well deteriorated, isn't it? Alright, so I found a Honda carburetor. It's just it's not exactly the same, and I'm not going to use it. The throttle and the choke mechanism at the top is a little different than we had. And you know what, folks? Sometimes it's just not worth trying to resuscitate this stuff. We're going to go online and buy a replacement. Probably be here tomorrow. And when you do that, what you need is, coming back over here to the mower, you need to take your photo. It doesn't matter, it's not really the tractor, the lawnmower that we care about, it's the engine. So I want you, because the carburetor is part of the engine, and TROY-BILT has nothing to do with that, it's Honda. So we need to take a photo of that information, GCV160, LA0, whatever that is. Take a photo of that so you can get the right carburetor for this engine. Then when you go to sit down in front of the computer to look up the part number or to find the replacement, bring the old one with you so that you can compare carefully the photos. Because you got to get the right kind. You know, it's got to be fully compatible in every way. So that's what I'm going to do. Probably be here tomorrow, next day, and then we'll just save ourselves the hassle of trying to clean this mess. We'll install a new one and we'll be back in business in no time. So I'm going to sit down in front of the computer and I will talk to you again in a day or two. Alright, this is my computer screen and I'm on Amazon. The aftermarket company I like to use is HIPAA. That's as good as you're going to get for aftermarket. This replacement carburetor is going to cost us $22.88 plus tax, and it'll be here tomorrow with free delivery. I've looked carefully at the pictures to make sure we're getting the right one. This was our number, GCV160 LAO. It's the auto choke, that's what we got. We got the automatic choke, so I'm pretty sure this is right. It's going to come with all the gaskets, the spacer, air filter, inline fuel filter, shut-off valve, and a spark plug. May not use all of that, but this is a quick and easy way to get back up and running. So let's buy it now. Click that guy right there and it'll be here tomorrow. Alright, our replacement carburetor has arrived. HIPAA is the brand I like to go with, if available, when I need a replacement carburetor. It gives us a new air filter, pre-cleaner, HIPAA branded spark plug, fuel shut-off valve, the spacer, small piece of hose, the carburetor, an inline fuel filter, set of the gaskets. All right, so that's a pretty complete kit, less than 25 bucks, next day delivery. So let's go ahead and install this guy. All right, so I want to show you the way that I install these carburetors. And I use some threaded rod. This is I think it's M6 threaded rod. And I use it temporarily and then swap it out with the original bolts. So I'll show you what that looks like. First, I'm going to take the carburetor and I'm going to connect the linkages, because they're really hard to connect once you have it bolted up in place. So do that first. I'm also going to plug in the fuel line and take the blue pliers and slide down this brand new clamp. Okay, so it's just hanging there right now. At this point, I'm going to use this threaded rod and hold it all in place. And all of that stuff in the back stayed up, and I'm just going to leave it and reuse it. But if it has come down, this allows you to get everything in place easily with the threaded rods before trying to get all of it on here, and then you can't see what you're doing. It's a real pain, or it can be. All right, so that guy's up. I need one gasket here, and they may have sent one in the kit, but I'm going to try to take it off of the original one because this has like a metal backing to it, and I want to reuse that if I can. So that gasket is going up. Make sure you get on the right way. That hole has to line up there. All right, good, perfect, wonderful. And now we're ready for this guy. And he also slides up on the bolts. We plug our breather tube in the back, which is not easy because you can't see it very well, but don't forget that. And now this guy's up. It's all there. Everything's there that needs to be there. Right? So now I'm going to replace these threaded rods with the original bolts. So I use my one hand to press sort of firmly to keep everything in place, and we replace them one at a time. And everything's still up in place, nothing falls down. Won't tighten that up completely yet. Okay, same thing. Remove a little pressure there to hold everything in place so it doesn't shift. Unscrew the threaded rod. Put in the original bolt. And screw it in with the nut driver. And that makes it so incredibly easy. And you can take a ratchet and tighten it down just a little bit more. So that's good. Yeah. I'm going to install the new spark plug because I'm going to sell this machine. And I already have a guy who wants to buy it. So I'm gonna change the oil. I'm going to replace the spark plug. I've got the carburetor. Let's go ahead and turn on the fuel valve now. I've put some fresh, clean, non-ethanol fuel in there, and I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. Make sure it's not leaking. I want to make sure that the needle and seat inside our new carburetor is working properly. Otherwise, we'll have gas spilling out. After that, we're going to put it on the ground and we'll take it outside and see if it's ready to run. I think it will be. All right. See what happens. how wonderful is that? One pull start, it sounds really, really great. That's a nice machine, isn't it? Well, that's it for today's video. I hope it was interesting to you and helpful, whether you have one of these mowers or any mower with a Honda engine that's giving you trouble, or if you enjoy, you know, flipping these mowers and passing them along to others. Hopefully it's of help to you. This is going to a guy who just bought a house. It's his first time having to take care of his own lawn, so he's happy to be picking it up, and I'm happy for him to have it. Your comments and questions in the discussion below are always appreciated. I always like to hear from you. Remember, as I always like to say, only you can put the do into do it yourself. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.